is again a unique topic. How shall gestures match the speech? You know, this is a major concern for all the students. How shall gestures match the speech? Every time your teacher is behind you telling use hand gestures, and students are really concerned about this topic. They are really worried about this, what kind of gestures they shall use. Yes, they have smiled during the presentation, they are smiling, no problem. If they have fear of the presentation also, they try to give a genuine smile on their face. They are trying their best. I am audible, right, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So, they tend to keep a smile on the face. That's done. But what kind of gestures shall my students use during the presentations? They just try to do like this, or they try to show the shape, or sometimes they try to move, or they try to show they eat, or whatever the topic comes, they try to do each and every action because ma'am is already behind. Use gestures. So that's why there's an interesting topic. I think after this my students will have an idea what kind of gestures they shall use during the presentations, which will make the presentations really commendable. Okay, so let me start. First, let me just brief out the types of gestures. Okay, I'm not going to go in detail because we are falling shortage of time, so I'll be just briefing out types of gestures. Number one is descriptive gesture, which is nothing but you want to show the shape or size, very small size, big size. Okay, small size, big size. So describing the things, movement. It's coming from there or that side or this side. Okay, you're using your gestures to show the sides, direction, movement. That is called as descriptive. Moving on to the next one, that is emphatic. Okay, emphatic gestures used to stress key points. For example, pointing to highlight important items or slides in the presentation. If you want to point out something important, you emphasize, you have to follow this, or clench fist or something where you want to emphasize on a crucial matter, you will use emphatic gestures. Then illustrative, again in your presentation, if some object is there which is circular in shape, quite similar to the descriptive one, you are going to show the circular hand movement showing that it is circular in shape. It's like a process, like a cycle. Okay, so to show the shapes, you're going to use the circular hand movements, and you will illustrate whatever is there in your content for illustrative gestures. Moving on to the next one. See, emotions are something which we always have, right? We all are humans. Every human tries to show some or the other emotions, sad emotion, happy emotion, angry emotion. You know, you all are students, and while online sessions also, if sometimes I am very strict with you all, or if sometimes I am not understanding your point, then you will show some kind of emotions on the face, sad emotions, angry or dissatisfied emotions, any kind of emotions you show. This is natural. You know, some students say that they cannot show emotions, they feel that it won't come out from the face, but I tell you, emotions are natural. That is there in every human. If you see a pain, if you see something wrong in the city, in the street, okay, there's a painful situation is there, you feel that pain in the heart, so you can show that emotion. If you see something exciting, some announcements are there, something very exciting and pleasing to your ears, you show a happy emotion, sad emotion, excitement, angry. If you're really not happy with what is going on around you in your class or in your street, you're going to show an angry emotion. This should be natural. You know, you need not always express with words what you don't like. Sometimes with your face also, the person who's your friend can make out that this girl or boy is upset with me, because on her face it should be visible. As a person who's going to do a presentation, okay, if you want to become a speaker, a person who's going to present in front of a group, so they have to enact the emotions on the face itself. From the face itself, your emotion should be clearly seen, whether you are happy, angry, excited or whatever. And if you're grateful, you should really show that also. I'm so obliged, I'm so honored, I'm so grateful to the staff here that they have given me this chance to give this presentation. So this should be there to make your presentation lively and natural. Followed by functional gestures. Now, for example, in my PPT, I have to point out something on the chart and show that this is what is very important. Out of this 5 points, number 1 is very important, 2 is very important, or there are 5 points I'm going to show, or as we always discuss 5 key pillars of communication skills, if you show 5 fingers, then that is called as functional gestures. Okay, pointing out on the slide or chart or hand raises to ask attention, or if you're asking some question, yes, I want you to answer, and you are telling, yes ma'am, I'm there to answer. So all these gestures, depending on the situation what we are using, that is called as functional, based on the function. So this is the types of gestures. Okay, just let me tell you once again: descriptive gesture, emphatic gesture, emotional gesture, functional gesture. Sorry, one gesture is missed. Descriptive, number 1. Second is emphatic gesture. Third is illustrative. Fourth is emotional gesture. Fifth is functional gesture, based on the function you are using in the presentation. Coming to the how to use gestures. The major concern for today's topic is how to use the gestures. Emphasize key points, show sizes, indicate directions, express emotions, happy, angry, sad, or whatever it is. Either frowning face, you can show an angry emotion. By smiling, cheers, you can show a happy emotion. And sad, of course, you can make that also. Excited, you can show that also. You can be more expressive, showing different emotions. List or sequence, create visual story, stay natural and confident. So let me proceed further. Emphasize key points. Use a firm hand movement like a gentle chop or point to highlight important points. Usually how I do 1, 2 and 3. There are 3 things you need to remember, my dear students. 3 things you need to remember. So just you can emphasize the key points. Show size or shape. You're talking about a building or something. You can say it's too big, or the ball is very small. The building is very big. The ball is very small. You can show the shape and size. Indicate direction. If you go on the right side or on the left side, or whatever directions you want to show, back, front, right and left, you can indicate that also using the hand gestures. Expressing emotions. Yes, a warm welcome to all my dear friends, my mentors and my dear lovely students for joining this event today and making it most memorable. So you are going to express that, and at the same time strong emotions. You can show that clenched fist, hand over heart, to show sympathy and gratitude. I understand the pain the students are facing to join this online session on Sundays. Okay, so if you're sharing some emotions, since the sad feelings, you can even keep the hand on the chest and use that emotion. List or sequence. Use fingers to count points. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, either like this or like this also you can show to let the audience know what you're talking. Now create a visual story. Let me explain you. Use gestures to act small parts of your story. Example, pretending to knock knock. Okay, if you're narrating a story, you're doing knock knock. So how you're going to use that? I knocked the door. You can, right? I knocked the door, or the man knocked the door and the door opened, and how it went on when you're narrating a story. Okay, it should look more engaging, more attractive. So you can use this and this gesture. And what else? Pretending to knock knock, open the door, and the girl opened the door and she was surprised to see a huge building. A huge building. Okay, she opened the door. When the boy knocked the door, like that you can use the gestures and show a phone. This is again a very easy. When the boy was answering the call, when her mother called, he was answering the phone call and he was very busy. He was busy typing, he was busy writing, he was busy reading. Somebody knocked. All these gestures you can easily use during your visual story presentations. Okay, moving on to the next one. Stay natural and control. Finally, avoid overdoing the gestures. You know, sometimes what happens, some students do like this. Number 1 was this, number 2 was this, like similar to some dancing movements like that. So you should avoid that uncontrolled movements, that rhythmic movements as you are singing or dancing. That should not be there. Try to stay natural, and you cannot really show everything. Okay, when you're doing I like mango, you cannot show the shape of mango when you're talking about your favorite food. Okay, so just be natural and controlled to whatever extent you can. Use the gestures. Let the viewers connect through you, through your emotions, smile, gestures, and the way you present the what do we call that as? I always ask everyone to modulate your voice, intonation. Okay, rise and fall in the pitch or the tone of your voice. So intonation should be there, inflection, emphasize a particular word, intonation should be there, and inflection should be there on a particular word. Be natural, be controlled, okay? Not too many gestures, and don't just say it still like this, showing that no gestures at all. That should also be avoided. Wrong gestures. I finish my presentation by talking about wrong gestures. This is a wrong gesture, okay? If you're standing in front of your principal or your mentor like this, standing tall, and you have crossed your hands there and showing, sometimes this looks offensive, defensive, or it shows disrespect to the tutor or mentor. If you're standing in front of adults like this, it shows a wrong gesture. At the same time, when you are doing like this and bending your head, that is again a gesture which is out of sincerity and humbleness, or because you felt ashamed, you are bending your head downwards, or due to respect. But standing like this is a wrong gesture. Try to avoid this. Putting hands in the pocket during your presentation on stage, if you're putting hands in your pocket, it again looks a very casual and disengaged kind of gesture. Overuse pointing fingers. You should not do from next time, okay? Abdullah or whoever, Shubh, Nishan, Sarvesh, any of my students, if I point out like this, it looks very rude and it looks very aggressive, okay? Whether it be Umrah or any boy or any girl in the class, and the teacher points out like this, telling you are doing very bad, or you being disruptive person in the class, okay? You cannot show like this, because this is again a very rude gesture. So just try it. And repetitive movements or fidgety. This is out of fear and anxiety. We press our thumb, or bite your nails, or scratch your scalp, something like that, or finger movements, tapping on the table. All these movements are fidgety movements, repetitive movements, wrong movements during your presentations. Prepare yourself that you're not going to do this. Turning your back to the audience. Never turn your back towards the audience, because it breaks connection and your audience will lose interest from you. Too much or no hand movements. Too much hand movements, again, it's gonna distract you. Distractive. And no hand movements at all means robotic presentation that will become. So that should be avoided. Overuse of hand gestures should also be avoided. Looking only at the screen or the notes. Now looking only at the screen and on the notes and not looking at the kid is again wrong. Your eyes should not only be on the screen, but at the same time you should engage with the audience. You should maintain that eye connection. Touching your face or hair constantly. Some students have this habit constantly, unknowingly. They just touch their face or hands or their body, which is again bad, because you may not be knowing while presentation. Unknowingly you do that. It distracts the listeners. Okay, finish. So the last one is mirror practice. Practice in front of mirror or watch your own videos, so that you yourself will know what you're doing. What are you showing to everyone? What is the kind of presentation you're giving to all the listeners there? Look at yourself in the mirror or in your recorded video. You watch that, you will come to know what are the mistakes you are doing. Okay, here I end my topic, my dear students. So